So this right here, it's about making money. What's up, guys? Miguel Garza from the Kaminsky Real Estate Group here. Welcome to Episode 2 of Get Housed, a show that supports local businesses, talks real estate, and maybe somebody wins $100. My guest tonight is the illustrious Reno Ministrelli.
No one has ever referred to me.
Did you hear that, dude? I called you illustrious. Reno owns a local business called Prodiconn.
I do.
Represent right here. So Reno, I do want you to give people watching some background on yourself and how you got to the point of starting your own brand and growing it and how that's going so far.
Yeah, man. Before we get into that, I'm proud of you for having this show, man. It's really a great thing. I think a lot of people could benefit from. First episode, I definitely did, and thank you for having me.
Awesome, thank you. Thank you for being on it.
So Prodiconn Solutions is a telecom company, telecommunications, right? We specialize in not only cellular deployment, but also like engineering. So a lot of what happens in what you'll see in cellular construction is that from step one, I noticed in my career that the builds, when it came to construction, were not necessarily fluid, and it starts at the ground level from when sites are being surveyed or construction drawings are being created.
Okay.
And that's been a problem constantly, and it's definitely an industry-wide problem, but it's something that I kind of set out to fix.
So you noticed just a bunch of inefficiencies going through the process from the ground up.
Yeah, literally, like we would get sites to build and it would say we're putting together this room, this table in the construction drawing was in the other room.
Right.
So you would show up with the drawings and you're like, I'm not even in the same place, right? So a couple things, to be completely honest, is people are getting paid to create garbage.
Right.
So I was like, I can get paid to create garbage too, but if we make it better, then maybe we get paid more and then we solidify a place in the market.
Absolutely.
So a year and a half in, we've been very successful. Like I have 6 employees now, and I mean the money is definitely coming, but I'm really loving what I'm doing right now. With these 6 employees, these guys are driven with me, and we have almost like 600 working projects currently in the LA area, and it's really bringing 5G to everyone, which is what we're all waiting for, right?
So 5G is actually a topic that's really hot at this point.
Yeah.
Some people are terrified of it. Others are saying that there isn't really that much to be worried about. Without going too deep into it, which way do you lean on that issue?
So, if I can be completely honest, somebody is going to get paid to design these networks.
Right.
Someone's going to get paid to deploy them. And the reason I started my company when I did is that somebody is going to be me now, or a certain percentage of it for the next 10 years.
Okay.
And I was around when AT&T first launched 4G in Chicago, and the amount of money that was being put out for garbage work was a lot. We were busy constantly, right?
Right.
And what I found is after that period, people were forced to use contractors that were being very inefficient or efficient. It didn't matter. They just needed bodies. But after that launch, the people that stuck around were the people that performed the most,
right,
and everyone else died out.
Right.
So my goal is to be a front runner through that deployment and be one of the top-notch performers. And then after that well kind of dries out and the people who aren't really performing that well will go away,
right,
we will still
You're still there up and running.
Yeah. But as far as 5G as a whole, it's not operating right now. Unless we all turned our phones in and got all new SIM cards, the technology doesn't work. You either have a phone that works on 5G, which is a network that doesn't exist,
right,
and you won't get 4G LTE or any of the other networks, or you get the other networks without it. They don't have that technology to do the transition between like we can right now.
And is the energy that the 5G signal emits, is it something that is a health risk in your opinion? Is that something that people should be worried about?
I don't think it's something that people should be worried about, but it's definitely a health risk, but I don't think it's any more of a health risk of breathing the air that we breathe in Los Angeles or driving down the road or like crossing the street. It really isn't, because we can't really quantify it, and they have done tests where your microwave or your TV is emitting RF radiation, and you're around it all day long anyways.
Yep.
So the long-term effects, all this stuff is so new, we don't know.
I mean, I've heard crazy shit about the 5G thing, and it's up into full-on conspiracy theories where people think that the 5G is going to be connected to a future Alexa that's in your walls and can link up to your thoughts, and it'll all go up. I mean, it gets that crazy, the things that I've heard.
It fucking does,
yeah.
And that's already happening. How many times have you been thinking something, you open up
Right.
Instagram and you're like,
Totally.
oh, you're like talking to your girl and you're like, hey, let's go to Cancun
Yes.
on vacation. The first thing that shows up is trips to Cancun for free, right? So that stuff is already happening, but we were on a location in Monterey, and I was outside and we were doing a survey, right? Nothing is built. I'm surveying for a build that's probably not going to happen for a year, and this lady comes out saying that she's having headaches from what I'm putting in. Her head is already hurting for something that doesn't fucking exist.
Right.
So, and she literally, and she's like, what are you guys going to do about it? And I'm like, lady, Advil.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what to tell you. There's nothing here.
Right.
And she's like, well, I'm going to report you. It's like, to who?
Right.
There
For
is
what?
no government agency.
Right.
I haven't done anything.
Right.
This is public property. So, like, that's the shit that we deal with. Like, there are eventually there's people wearing foil hats now at their house.
Totally.
There's going to be more of it.
For sure.
For sure.
For sure.
What are you going to do? Not have a cell phone? I mean, are you not going to communicate?
I know. I am definitely not going to have a cell phone.
Right.
Not an option.
But they're making like radiation protective clothing and shit like that. And if you're really that worried about it, you should be wearing it now.
Well, I can't imagine that, telecommunication agencies would actually create a product to mass disseminate that would be harmful to humanity. I don't see how.
This is like the big government like conspiracy theory that everyone talks about. But you also, if you think about the things that are legal that you can do, alcohol kills you, cigarettes kill you. Like, so why isn't this a thing, right? But then why is that the focal point? And it's probably people that are sitting at home smoking cigarettes, drinking whiskey, worried about that killing them. You know what I mean? It's like, fucking look right in front of you, dude. That's what's going to kill you.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
Maybe over the next 20 years or something, but you're fucking dead anyways because look at what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like no one really knows, and we will probably never know the actual results until
everybody's gone, right?
Until somebody wants to privately fund it.
Right.
Until someone's like, no, this is the truth, and the reason people aren't privately funding it because they don't have any evidence. There's nothing to do right now.
Just chasing ghosts.
So you can panic all you want, but I choose not to.
Okay, well, now that we've thoroughly scared everybody, let's, there's one thing that has always stood out to me, and those are your leadership skills, and I think that that's something that's very relatable, that people could, hear your approach to, the way that you handle not only just in work situations, but leadership happens in the home too, whether, you're a parent or if it's your wife, girlfriend, whatever it may be. Having good leadership skills can help people lead better lives.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I just remember one time I came over to your house a few years back, and you were leading a conference call, and I noticed that you were speaking to everybody, and you were definitely leading the call, and delegating what you needed your team members to do, but you just created an aura of cohesiveness with everybody, and that really impacted me, made me love you more. But so I guess just go off on however you want to, discuss what your approach to leadership is in your life.
Yeah, this is something that, like, for me is the most important thing, especially if you're going to be a business owner. Like, if you are not willing to be sweeping the floors, then I don't think that you deserve to own a business, and I don't think that you deserve to tell anybody shit.
Okay.
Really, right? Because that's what you're asking people to do.
Right.
So if I'm telling you to do something that I'm not willing to do, that makes me an asshole.
100%.
You know what I mean? And I just try not to do that. And even just last week, I was on site with one of my guys in Seattle, and I was turning wrenches with him and shit. And we were knocking sites out. And I could tell he stopped and looked at me like, I forgot who this fucking dude is.
Yeah.
But that's important.
Yeah.
And I went through...
It's inspiring and motivational,
Well, and it's also, you're absolutely right, and it also reinforces that this is why I don't want to work for this person, I want to work with this person.
Right.
So, starting my own company, I look at the guys who work with me or work for me as working with me. I even said it right there, Freudian slip, right? But they do work with me.
Right.
Without them, I don't have anything.
For sure.
Right? And CEOs, they don't have that if they didn't start the business. They were hired, and there's somebody else hiring all these other people, and they're forced to report to
touch, right?
But they're forced to work, like, if I get hired as like a low-level person and you're my CEO, I'm forced to work with you whether I like you or not, because that's just my job at the time, right? I might report to somebody else, but you could be an asshole that I'm stuck dealing with.
Right.
And you're just, again, barking orders and sometimes untouchable.
Yeah.
Like, here comes a CEO, like, no one say anything, he's walking in the room. That's a crazy mentality to me.
Do you have any thoughts on how to create that, grassroots, ground level culture because I'm sure your intention is to grow your business much bigger than the 6 employees that you have now. How would you maintain that culture?
So culture for me in my business is super important, and I guess one of the biggest things is understanding everyone's strengths, right? I wouldn't ask somebody who digs ditches to go fill out spreadsheets, right? And sometimes in certain companies that's what happens. So understanding their strengths and their weaknesses while helping them with their weaknesses so they can become more well-rounded, right? But it's a matter of like, for me, filling gaps, right? And me, I'm that gap filler. I have guys that are very good at certain things, and where they start to lack, I jump in. So you have to be in tune, but you also have to know your business, and really, dude, you just have to give a shit. Like if you don't give a shit, there's no reason to be doing it. You know what I mean? If you're doing it for a paycheck, that's one thing, but you're hurting the people below you, and you should just admit that and look deeper within yourself and find something that you want to do.
So anyway, talking about real estate, you actually semi-recently purchased a piece of land in north of here, Central California? Yeah, it's like east of Bakersfield in the mountains. So it backs up to like a southern point of Sequoia National Forest. Okay. And it literally, our property line touches the National Forest land. Okay. And it's just by like the mountain doesn't really have a name, but it's right by a peak called Paiute Peak. Paiute is the closest thing that you can find. Piute. Okay. But it's by Cold Springs, Caliente, Tehachapi area, east of Bakersfield. And you bought this property with a couple other guys. Yeah. For, I mean, no pun intended, dirt cheap. Dirt cheap, literally, yeah. So a buddy of mine was up there. He's a big hunter from Wisconsin, lives in South Bay here, and he was looking for land to go shoot deer on. Okay. And he thought it was all public. Right. And there's this old motherfucker named Dennis who owns literally the entire mountain. There's 4 people on this entire mountain. Old man Dennis in his piece of shit truck drove up, found my boy Troy literally like scouting for deer, and I was like, the fuck you doing here? And he gave him the story, and the guys liked Troy, because everyone likes Troy. He's just a nice ass dude. And shout out TKO Painting, South Bay. And he's like, do you want to buy some land? Right. And Troy's like, just to try to get on the hunting land. He's like, yeah, like, do you want to lease or something along those lines? And he's like, well, I'll give you 10 acres and for $1,000 an acre. So, which is... a shitty car. it's insane. Yeah. It's not even a shitty car. It's like a sweet skateboard. So Troy literally went down to the bank and got cash. It's about an hour and a half down the mountain. Got cash, came back. They penciled out some sort of bullshit deed where Dennis wrote his name wrong because Dennis is 90. And then they finally got it like officially like notarized and all that other shit later on. And then he brought you and other guys in the mix. So he bought the land, and he and one of my other friends, Rob, like went in and partners together. So $5,000 each, and they built like a little shed. It's like a 6x6 hut with 3 bunk beds in it, and they wanted to develop. So they didn't want to put in all the money themselves. It's not a place that's very easy to get to. It's like a 3 or 4 weekend a year kind of thing. So he knew that I was interested, and he's like, look, I want to build this 2-bedroom house, but I don't want to pay out of pocket, right? I don't use it enough. It doesn't make that much sense, and I need help, and you have construction background and stuff. Would you be interested? So I bought in at a time where they already built the shed. Okay. I paid $7,500. Okay. So five people equal partners, but what we did is we built a bathroom up there now that has, and it sounds crazy, but when you're camping, you don't have like running water and stuff. It makes everything super awkward. There's no electricity. Oh, you have solar. We have solar, which we brought. And no running water. No running water, and you can't get it there. It's at the top of the mountain, so all the water goes from there down. Right? So the natural springs would be several hundred yards below us, potentially, to where you could actually drill a well. So we have a cistern, a 1,000-gallon cistern that we actually pay a guy to fill up because the water will evaporate in the summer. Yeah, I'm a city boy from the beach. What's a cistern? A cistern is like, it's a big black container, like a water jug. Okay. It's 1,000 gallons. And it collects rainwater? No, you have to fill it up. Fill it up. So this guy fills up, he's got a water truck, I know. He's got a water truck, we pay him like $50. This guy, this is in the middle of nowhere, and he has nothing better to do, and he probably just does this for fun, and we just pay him for the water. Okay. So he goes down and gets it for free, and we pay him for gas to drive back up. And every time he fills it up, he tells us about how much water we used and how excited he is to fill it up and shit. It's really fucking funny. But that's all gravity fed. We don't have any pumps or anything because there's no way to run it, and we're not up there to maintain it. So if a pipe were to break or anything, there's like, we could have floods and shit that we don't necessarily want.
So when we go up there, we have to disconnect all the plumbing, which sounds complicated, but we made like one quick connect pipe that you just unscrew and it's done.
Like a master.
Yeah, in case anything floods or anything, it all kind of runs in, which is a real problem. And freezing, they got like 4 feet of snow up there probably right now.
We need to go up there.
Yes.
We were gonna go up there on New Year's and we never got around to it, but we do need to make that happen soon.
I tried to go up there and the car wouldn't make it, so we had to turn around and go back.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So let's not go up in January anymore. Yeah. When we tried to go up to the mountain in the middle or like for New Year's, literally got like almost like a mile from the top of the mountain, like 4 feet of snow, then covered by mud because it was kind of warm, so it was like deep snow and all this other shit. And basically, I had to turn around and get back down, and we were like struggling to find a place to go and spend time in Joshua Tree or whatever, my girlfriend and I.
Okay.
So actually, this is kind of perfect timing that I'm here because there's property at the base of the mountain that is reachable.
Okay.
Right? And it's a quick 4-wheeler ride or a snowmobile ride up there. So I've been looking at some of these pieces of property up there and just to buy raw land and try to buy on.
Okay.
But I have a problem, a couple problems, right? I've only been in business a year and a half.
Right.
I don't have like the 3 years of financial backing that I'm told you're supposed to have or like proof of income.
Sure.
Right? Before you get a loan or at least a good loan, at least from what I know. Never bought a house before in this piece of property. It was all cash, right? So looking at ways to kind of figure out how I could buy a less expensive piece of property that I could afford a higher APR, maybe like a higher risk loan on my part, and develop that and have like a little vacation home or something like that.
Yeah, so here's the thing with that. Yeah, so a bank would obviously like to have everybody fit in their perfect little box.
Of course.
Salaried, pay their taxes on time.
So out of curiosity, with like I feel like there's like a bunch of new like entrepreneurs and stuff like sprouting up and like contractors, right? So that dynamic must be changing a bit. Maybe?
It is, right? Yeah, it's still the bigger banks are gonna want to see that W-2 employee, just because it's much easier to gauge how safe they are as a borrower.
So I was gonna say safe.
But for somebody like yourself, it's an entrepreneur. Yes, the ideal amount of back records that the banks want to see is 2 years. They want to see income, taxes, debt, all those things.
Yeah, but it's all sporadic, right? Like I get a certain amount this month and a certain amount the next month.
They know that. Okay. And they know that. So there are other ways to achieve getting a home loan in your situation. It's really it's more common than you think.
Okay.
So I wouldn't necessarily put off your plans to satisfy the banks. If you feel like you are ready to go now or whenever you do feel like is your time, just talk to a lender. Now there are different loan programs for you being with the other one, did you just bought in? Are you on the deed with these people?
I'm not on the deed, but I have a contract with the landowner. But I know that there's other options.
But it wasn't like recorded with the county or anything?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
So just a handshake deal with those guys?
Basically, yeah.
So you could, as a first-time property buyer, there are government-backed loan programs that allow people that don't have a lot of money down to acquire their first home. And that typically would require them to live in the property for a year. So you looking for something in Joshua Tree, is that right?
It would be maybe like up in Caliente or like at the base of the mountain, right? Because
Okay.
I was thinking there's land out there that we can get to that, if we had the 4-wheelers parked down there and then there's snow, we could just take those up the mountain and then go up to the cabin. That's kind of the idea.
Okay.
That's what I thought of when I started seeing for sale signs and looking into them, and they're not very expensive.
And
$100 grand-ish.
they're just plots of land?
Plots of land, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 acres, 20 acres.
No structures on them?
Nothing.
Okay. That's a whole different ball of wax. Okay. These banks giving home loans are for properties that actually have homes on them.
Is that for because of higher resale value if something happens? If you happen to default or something, then they can get their money back, or that land could sit.
Well, it's a tangible asset,
okay.
right?
So say there was a house on it. Say there was a place that I do find that's within my price range that I could go a couple $100,000 because they do exist out there. They have like a 1-bedroom little piece of shit.
You do see those types of properties if you're looking in the desert on like Airbnb or one of those sites.
Exactly.
So let's say you do it. Well, there's 2 different ways to do it, right? You could do it as your first-time home buyer, less money down. That would be a good option, right? And then you just have to provide proof that you're living in it.
Okay.
The other way is to do it non-owner occupied, you would indicate on the purchase agreement that you are not intending to live in this property, at which point the bank will see that and they will likely require, so as an investor, if this is something that you maybe would want to do over and over again, let's just say, for example, you want to do this Airbnb thing, right? And you take a model, it's working, you're making money off of it, you're like, I want to do that again, and you jump over to the next one and the next one. Your down payments are going to be higher.
Okay. Percentage-wise, you're saying, right?
Percentage-wise, yeah. So minimum of 25, sometimes 35% they require. Yeah. And then your interest rates will be higher too, right? So they know
like double. I mean, obviously you don't know
the interest rates.
Yeah.
No, not double.
Just higher.
Not double. Yeah. I mean, I think a really good competitive rate today is probably 3.25, but I'm probably going to see 3.5 more often.
Okay.
As an investor, it probably would be more around 5.
Okay.
5.5.
Okay.
But that does make a big difference.
Right.
But it's just the way that it is. If you're living in the property, you're going to get a more favorable rate and able to buy it with less money down. But the other side of the coin is that you have a tried and true model that's working, and you're just going to do it again, and the thing's going to spit out money.
So you're gaining that trust with the bank, I guess. Then their finances are kind of protected. Yeah. Is kind of the idea.
So if this is something that you are doing again and again and again, you'll find. I mean, and you'll just figure it out.
Yeah.
Just by the same way you were saying about making mistakes, you're going to make mistakes for sure.
Yeah.
But you're going to learn from them, and just come out better for it on the back end.
Yeah, because I do have a little bit of hesitancy in buying locally, just from a finance perspective, and not fully knowing the success of the company and the affordability. But there are a couple places that I know that I can afford right now that I would love for you to look at.
Amazing. Yeah, we'll definitely sit down and figure out what it is that you're looking for, what areas, and I mean, easy peasy.
Fuck yeah.
Love you, dude.
Yeah, man.
All right, well, thank you very much for joining me on Get Housed. The only thing that's left now is for Reno to spin the notorious wheel of death or happiness. The notorious wheel of
death or happiness.
Reno, have at it, dude.
What's this one where you get slapped? Is it like a hand?
It's that game where you get the whipped cream in your face.
All right, whipped cream face, you're out. Give me that fucking 100.
Spun it like a
Oh!
Amazon gift card?
I spin it like a bitch? I go again?
Yeah, you spun it like a bitch.
I did?
Yeah.
Alright, can I rip it?
Yeah, rip the fuck out of it.
Alright, you gotta do the whole thing again or just
start over the whole
thing?
Oh no. Yeah, okay. Alright, so now it's time for Reno to spin the notorious wheel of death or happiness. Reno, rip it.
There's some weird shit on here, dude. Alright, rip it? Like,
rip
okay.
It. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Get some! Get some!
What'd you get?
Get some!
Nice work.
Dude, thank you so much for having me.
$25 Amazon gift card for my dude.
Yeah, boy.
The illustrious Reno Ministrelli.
It's me.
Thanks again for watching Get Housed, guys. As always, have a powerful and productive day.
Shout out Prodiconn.